Hi guys, I have a quick video today just to show you how to fix a routed edge mistake. So if you make a routing mistake and you've messed up something that you've worked hard to build or you've spent money on and you don't want to waste, you can use Bondo to repair that routed edge and start again. So I've showed this before in another video, but it's worth showing again because this one is such a big mistake. So I'm making cabinet doors for some built-ins that I made, and I wasn't paying enough attention. I wanted this pretty routed edge on the cabinet door, but I put it on the wrong side. As you can see, the front and the back of the door look really similar. I just wasn't paying enough attention. It's like 100 degrees out here, so I'm going to use that as my excuse. So instead of running to the store to buy more wood and more plywood to rebuild this door, I'm going to see if I can fix it. I've had a lot of success in the past with all-purpose Bondo or all-purpose putty made by Bondo to repair woodworking mistakes. Now, this is not going to stain pretty, so this is not going to fix something that you need to stain. I only do this for projects that I'm going to paint, so I'll be painting this. So obviously I've already used Bondo once. It was a couple days ago, so it's super hard. Bondo usually dries completely. I think it even says a half an hour, but check the packaging. Definitely you could wait a couple hours for something this thick and it should be ready to clean up. But I let it get really messy because I wanted to build it out really thick. So I made the first one really sloppy and thick, and now I'm going to clean it up. I sanded down the Bondo flush with the original wood on the door with 100 grit sandpaper. So this is a power sander that's going to be your best bet for something this big of a repair. 100 grit sandpaper. Again, I'm painting this, so I'm not worried about that type of grit going into the pine and leaving little light scratch marks. The paint is going to fill that in. But the 100 grit paper itself is really great at knocking back that Bondo pretty quickly. After I had all of that Bondo sanded flush with the wood, I was able to see where I needed to apply another pass of the Bondo. So the directions for mixing up the Bondo are pretty easy. You just scoop some of it out of the container, add a little bit of the hardener, mix it in, and then you apply that Bondo pretty quickly because it will begin to harden within a few minutes. Then again, I just waited for that Bondo to completely harden before I sand it again. I want to point out, just keep it flush with the wood that you already have. So a big sander is going to be great for keeping it flat and level with the existing wood. And if you need to do another pass of Bondo in a few spots, that's great. If you just have like light little sort of air bubbles sometimes are left behind in the Bondo, you can just use a wood filler, quick drying wood filler at that point. So once I had that patch completely repaired and the Bondo had hardened and I sanded again, I was able to drill from my cabinet hardware through that Bondo just like I would with the wood. So it's super hard. It can hold that cabinet hardware if you've never used Bondo before. I love this stuff. It's just as hard as wood and durable as wood after you use it. I've used it on exterior shutters. I've used it on interior woodworking projects. You can see here it works just like the wood. And now let me show you what it looks like after the first coat of paint that I did on it. I let that first coat of paint completely dry, and then I sanded the areas that I patched again. You could see a little bit of a mark between the Bondo and the wood. So sanding that first coat of paint makes it completely flat and flush. And now let me show you what it looks like after a second coat of paint. That's the cabinet door that was repaired on the far right, guys. And as you can see by the way the sun is hitting the cabinet doors here, even when the sun is hitting at weird angles, you cannot see the repair anymore after I did that first sanding and replacement. Now on the inside of the cabinet door where all of the routing was changed, I didn't do the sanding before I did the second coat of paint. So you can see just a very light, when the sun is hitting it correctly, a very light line. So that sanding on the first coat of paint is key to getting it to be completely hidden. I don't really care on the inside of the cabinet door here, so I'm not going to bother. But this is a huge win, guys. You can use Bondo to repair woodworking mistakes. Lord knows I've done it more than once, and I'm sure I'll do it again in the future. But just so you know, this is how you do it. It will work. Save your hard work that you've already done and repair it with Bondo.